Picture this, the year's 1897 and the first Zionist Congress is in session. An exciting time indeed, as the seeds of a vision that would forever change the face of the Middle East and indeed the world were being planted. The Zionist movement, spearheaded by Theodor Herzl, was born out of the desire for the Jewish people to return to their ancestral homeland. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, this idea gained traction, with Jews from across the globe rallying behind the Zionist banner. The dream? To create a Jewish state in the land of Palestine, a place where they could live freely, away from the persecution and discrimination that had plagued them for centuries. But how exactly did this dream start to become a reality? Well, the pivotal moment came in the year 1917 with the issuance of the Balfour Declaration. Authored by British Foreign Secretary Arthur James Balfour, this document expressed British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This was a significant milestone, as Britain, a major world power at the time, was now officially backing the Zionist cause. The Balfour Declaration didn't specify the borders of this proposed Jewish homeland, nor did it detail how it would coexist with the Arab population already residing in Palestine. This ambiguity would later contribute to the complex and conflict-ridden history of the region. However, at the time, the Balfour Declaration was seen as a beacon of hope by the Zionists. It signified international recognition and support for their cause, and it provided a solid foundation upon which they could start building their dream of a Jewish state. And thus, the foundation for a Jewish homeland was laid, but it would be a long and tumultuous road to its realization. The journey was just beginning, and the challenges ahead were numerous. But the dream was alive, and the determination was unwavering. The stage was set for one of the most intriguing and contentious chapters in modern history. Fast forward to the horrifying period of the Holocaust during World War II. This was a dark chapter in human history, a time when irrational hatred and discrimination led to the systematic murder of 6 million Jews. The Holocaust was not merely a gruesome event. It was a chilling reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink when consumed by prejudice and malice. In the midst of World War II, the Nazi regime in Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, implemented the final solution, a plan aimed at the annihilation of the Jewish people. Jews from across Europe were rounded up, displaced from their homes, and sent to concentration and extermination camps. Men, women, and children were subjected to unimaginable horrors, all because of their Jewish identity. The Holocaust was a crucial turning point that brought the plight of Jews to the forefront of global consciousness. Despite the sheer scale of the devastation, the world was slow to respond. Many countries, grappling with the war on their own soil, were unwilling or unable to provide refuge to Jewish survivors. They were left stranded, stateless, their lives torn apart, with no safe place to call home. This mass displacement and struggle for survival underscored the urgent need for a Jewish state, a homeland where Jews could live freely without fear of persecution. The idea of Zionism, the movement for the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine, had been in existence since the late 19th century. However, the horrors of the Holocaust amplified its urgency and necessity. The Jewish survivors of the Holocaust, carrying the weight of their traumatic experiences, were more determined than ever to establish a homeland. They believed that a Jewish state would provide them with the security and autonomy they had been denied for centuries. Their struggle, their resilience, and their quest for a safe haven would play a pivotal role in the creation of the State of Israel. The aftermath of the Holocaust underscored the necessity for a Jewish homeland, a safe haven from persecution. In 1947, the United Nations stepped onto the stage with a solution. This solution was a pivotal moment in history, a partition plan that proposed the creation of separate Jewish and Arab states in Palestine. The United Nations, an international organization established to promote peace, security, and cooperation among nations, saw the escalating tension and conflict in Palestine. They recognized the need for a solution that would address the aspirations of both the Jewish and Arab populations. Thus, the United Nations Special Committee on Palestine, or UNSCOP, was formed. UNSCOP was tasked with the formidable challenge of developing a plan that would be acceptable to both Jewish and Arab communities. After careful deliberation, in November 1947, they proposed a partition plan. The plan was to divide Palestine into two independent states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem under international administration. This partition plan was not simply a diplomatic suggestion. It was a blueprint for a new geopolitical landscape in the Middle East. It was a plan that promised to fulfill the Zionist dream of a Jewish homeland while also acknowledging the rights of the Arab population. However, this plan was not received with unanimous approval. It was met with opposition, particularly from Arab nations who rejected the idea of partitioning Palestine. They argued that it was a violation of the rights of the majority Arab population in Palestine. But the United Nations General Assembly saw things differently. They voted in favor of the partition plan on November 29, 1947. The vote was 33 in favor, 13 against, and 10 abstentions. This decision was a turning point. It was a decision that carried with it the weight of international legitimacy. Despite the opposition from Arab nations, the United Nations plan set the wheels in motion for the birth of Israel. This moment marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the Middle East, a chapter that continues to unfold today. Despite the complexities and ongoing conflict, the role of the United Nations in shaping the region's destiny cannot be overlooked. And so, we turn the page to the next scene in our story, the creation of Israel. Despite opposition from Arab nations, the UN's plan set the wheels in motion for the birth of Israel. On May 14, 1948, a momentous announcement echoed around the world. After years of struggle, the Jewish people had finally achieved their dream of a homeland. This was no ordinary proclamation, but the declaration of the State of Israel by none other than David Ben-Gurion, the country's first prime minister. In the heart of Tel Aviv, in a small art museum, a crowd had gathered, their hearts beating in anticipation. The atmosphere was tense, yet hopeful. As Ben-Gurion stepped up to the podium, the room fell silent. With a deep breath, he began to read from a parchment, the Declaration of Independence, a document that would change the course of history. He spoke of the Jewish people's right to a homeland, of their historic and cultural connections to the region, and of their need for a safe haven after the horrors they had endured. With each word, a new country was being carved into existence, a country that would serve as a beacon of hope for Jews worldwide. And then, the moment everyone had been waiting for. In a voice filled with emotion, Ben-Gurion declared, "We hereby declare the establishment of a Jewish state in the land of Israel to be known as the State of Israel." The room erupted in applause and tears of joy. A new chapter in Jewish history had begun, but the birth of a nation is never without challenges. Just as a mother endures labor pains, so did the newborn state. Almost instantaneously, Israel found itself in a precarious situation, surrounded by hostile neighbors who rejected its existence. Yet the international community was not silent. The United States, under President Harry S. Truman, was the first to recognize the State of Israel, doing so merely 11 minutes after the declaration. The Soviet Union too quickly followed suit, extending its recognition within days. These acknowledgements were critical, lending credibility and support to the fledgling state. The Jewish homeland, long dreamt of and fought for, had finally become a reality. The creation of Israel was not just a historic event, but a testament to the resilience and determination of a people who, against all odds, had realized their dream of a homeland. But the story doesn't end with the creation of Israel. In the immediate aftermath of Israel's birth, neighboring Arab states were not ready to accept the presence of a Jewish state in their midst. This led to a war in 1948, just a day after Israel declared independence. 5 Arab nations, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Egypt, and Jordan, launched a military campaign against the new state. The conflict, known as the War of Independence in Israel, was fierce and bloody. But Israel managed to survive and even extend its territory. This was just the beginning of a series of wars and conflicts that would come to define the region. The Suez Crisis in 1956, the Six-Day War in 1967, the Yom Kippur War in 1973, the list goes on. Through each of these conflicts, Israel's existence was tested, but the nation held on, often expanding its control over disputed lands. In the heart of these ongoing tensions lies the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, an intricate and charged issue that has been a constant source of strife. The crux of the conflict is a battle for land and national identity, with both Israelis and Palestinians laying claim to the same territories. Over decades, this has led to numerous clashes, uprisings, and peace attempts, but a definitive resolution seems elusive. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is, in many ways, a reflection of the broader political situation in the Middle East. It's a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and power dynamics that spans across nations and cultures. And it's a situation that continues to evolve, with new developments often shifting the balance of power and reshaping the landscape of the region. In the midst of this, Israel stands as a testament to the resilience and determination of a people who, against all odds, sought to establish a nation of their own. The creation of Israel marked a new chapter in the Middle East, a chapter that is still being written. The journey to the creation of Israel was fraught with challenges and marked by historic events. Let's take a moment to revisit the key elements we've explored today. We delved into the early Zionist movement, a crucial starting point that laid the foundations for a Jewish homeland. The pioneers of this movement envisioned a refuge, a place where Jews could escape the scourge of anti-Semitism that was rampant across Europe. Then came the pivotal Balfour Declaration of 1917, a public statement from the British government expressing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This marked a significant turning point, boosting the momentum of the Zionist movement. We cannot overlook the profound impact of the Holocaust, a dark chapter that intensified the urgency for a Jewish state. The horrors witnessed during this period underscored the desperate need for a haven where Jews could be safe from persecution. In the aftermath of World War II, the United Nations played a decisive role. Their partition plan, proposed in 1947, sought to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. This plan, though met with resistance, paved the way for what was to come. The declaration of the State of Israel in May 1948 by David Ben-Gurion, then the head of the Jewish Agency, marked the culmination of these historic events. This momentous occasion signified the birth of a nation, a beacon of hope for Jews around the world. However, the story doesn't end there. The creation of Israel sparked an ongoing conflict that continues to this day, a complex issue rooted in deep-seated historical, political, and cultural tensions. The creation of Israel remains a powerful testament to the resilience and determination of a people in the face of adversity. This journey, filled with trials and triumphs, is a significant part of our global history that continues to shape our present and future. The creation of Israel is a complex and multifaceted historical event. It's an intricate tapestry woven from the threads of perseverance, survival, and the human spirit's relentless quest for a place to call home. Understanding this history is not just about delving into the past, but it's also about comprehending the present and foreseeing the future. In the grand theater of global politics, the stage of the Middle East never dims its lights. The story of Israel, its creation, its struggles, and its survival continues to play a crucial role. It's a narrative that has shaped and continues to influence the world's political, social, and cultural landscape. The ongoing quest for peace in the Middle East is a testament to the significance of this narrative. It's a reminder that history is not just about events that have transpired, but also about the lessons we take from them, the changes we make, and the future we build. From the ashes of the Holocaust to the birth of a nation, the story of Israel continues to shape our world today.